Hello, everybody out there in the ether. This is Eugene Morris the Fourth, and with me is my beautiful wife, Elisangela.
Hello, everyone.
And we're back with another podcast. It's been a minute.
For something we were gonna do very regularly, it's been like 6 months.
Well,
Whatever.
we have this little thing called lives. But I think now is our chance to do some more podcasts, and I got some more ideas. So you'll see us doing some more podcasts regularly. Not a set schedule, but I have some ideas for us to sit around and talk about stuff.
Oh,
for
good.
example, we're gonna jump into this. We went to WrestleMania this weekend.
Yay.
We went to the Night 1 Saturday WrestleMania, which is the show that everyone really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were home watching Night 2, which a lot of people didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, hey, why not just talk about our experience, of our WrestleMania 39 experience, as it were.
Yep.
So this whole story actually started in Christmas. Go ahead, honey. I'll let you tell the story.
I'm never really good with gifts and stuff, and it popped into my head one day that what I wanted to get Eugene for Christmas was tickets to WrestleMania. So tickets went on sale. I bought tickets and I gave it to Eugene in the form of like a scavenger hunt that he did in our house. I had things hidden around, and clues were kind of revolving around his favorite things, and to finally reveal that we were going to WrestleMania in April, which was this past Saturday. And he was very, very surprised, and he wasn't expecting it, I don't think. And yeah, so that was fun to do, and it was fun to finally do it.
So that kind of is both my Christmas and birthday present, which
the everything.
which is not surprising because tickets are pricey.
Yeah, they were ridiculous, but whatever.
Why did you decide to do Night 1 of WrestleMania?
So I chose Night 1 after pondering for a long time on Night 1 or Night 2. And honestly, it came down to the fact that last year, it seemed like the cool things happened on Night 1.
Which you are correct.
Last year, like Cody Rhodes came back on Night 1. And I just picked it because it was a Saturday, and that way we'd have Sunday just to come home and chill. But yeah, mostly because I knew last year Saturday was kind of the cool night. So that's why I picked Saturday.
Mm-hmm. So our journey to WrestleMania actually began Friday night. Well, first of all, this year's WrestleMania took place in Los Angeles, California, at SoFi Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stadium we've actually been to before. We went to the Los Angeles Bowl back in December to watch our local university, my alma mater, Fresno State, beat Washington State. Very cool stadium.
Very nice.
Very nice stadium. So we began our trip. We always like to rent a car. For those who don't live in California, there's this thing called the Grapevine, which I guess the best way to explain is like a series of mountains.
Really, really long mountain range.
Right.
It's very steep, very fast.
Right.
And it gets up to like 4,000 some feet.
Mm-hmm.
And to get from the valley, the Central Valley, down to the LA Valley, you need to cross it. Yeah. So we tend to rent just to prevent the wear and tear on our vehicles, which are already kind of on the older side. So
there you go. So we rented our nice little car. We made the drive on Saturday morning. So when we got there, first funny story. As soon as right next to the stadium, there's this like little strip mall,
mm-hmm.
and we looked over in the corner, and there's a little sign that said Snoop Dogg's official Death Row Records.
Home of Death Row Records.
Which I don't know if it's legit or not because there's this little tiny thing in the corner. But I just thought that was funny.
It was in like some weird strip mall. They were bumping Snoop for what it's worth, but
there you go.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. But anyways,
getting into the place for parking wasn't that difficult really?
No,
because we arrived early enough.
We park in the all the times we've gone to SoFi, we just park in the stadium parking, which is the more expensive of the options. But since we're not too familiar with the area, I just find it to be a little safer because SoFi is in Inglewood. and Inglewood's always up to no good. So we just park in the stadium parking. So that's what we did. We just pay for it, and that way we have the peace of mind of knowing where our car is.
There you go. No disrespect to the people of Inglewood.
No, don't come at me, please.
Well, being the genius I am, I decided to bring my classic Intercontinental Championship belt.
Because it's a great idea, because when else are we going to use this other than at a wrestling event?
Last year, Liz got me from, I believe it was WWE Online, a couple of replicas of the classic gold and wing eagled belt. And the Intercontinental Championship. I decided to bring the Intercontinental, this one. I posed for a picture. Well, the thing about us, and this happened the last time, we park in one area, but our seats are on the other side of the stadium. Mm-hmm. So we have to make a big walk around. And we're passing by all the other wrestling fans, a lot of costumes. Mm-hmm. Once we get to the area where they're going to let us in, then this lady came out and said, anyone with metal belts, you will not be allowed to take them inside the stadium. Please return them to your car. I was like, honey, give me the keys. So I walked all the way back to put it in the trunk. Then I walked all the way back. And once I got there, the line started moving. Mm-hmm. So we were playing some phone tag, basically, so I can know where she was. Which was ridiculous, honey, because you saw a lot of people. You said you saw a lot of people go into there with belts.
There were still tons of people with the stupid belts, like the big, huge ones like we have. So either it was a joke that we didn't wait long enough for the punchline or whatever. But it ended up being a good idea because it's a stadium, right? So the seats are super tight. I think Eugene would have been extremely uncomfortable holding that darn belt for the 4 hours that we were watching this. Mm-hmm. It would have been a little ridiculous trying to keep it out of his way, out of people behind us's way. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise that he ended up taking it back to the car.
Well, the thing is, once you get inside, there was a big, because there's a stadium and there's like a YouTube theater. Yes. And there's like this little area in between. And there was this big booth with all the championship titles that they were selling in WrestleMania.
Right.
And these suckers are like from $250 to $700.
Just buy them on the website.
Just buy them, yeah, exactly.
They're a lot cheaper, and you'll get deals and stuff a lot of times. So
we arrived just in time for the start of the pre-show.
Yep.
So we were
what I kept calling the pre-game.
Pre-game, basically. And so if you actually watch the pre-show on Peacock, you can see us. You can see we're really close to the table, so you can see my head, and then you can see like Liz's like the top of her head.
You see Eugene really good because he's like 6 inches taller than me, but you see my forehead when the guy in front of me moves every once in a while. I mean, I could see just fine, but I was just slightly out of the angle of the camera. But yeah, you see Eugene's big head floating in like the second or third row of the pregame, sitting right behind Booker T.
Yeah, of all the there's 4 hosts there, and Booker T by far the most popular.
Yeah, of course.
Booker chants broke out several times.
Yep.
So we made our way up to our seats. We're on the 4th deck.
4th deck, which, by the way, for SoFi Stadium, we've been to a lot of stadiums. 4th deck, SoFi is 5. It's 5 decks high. We went to AT&T Stadium a couple years ago, and to get to the 4th deck, which we also were in, were stairs. Like, you had to go upstairs, which of course I complained about the whole time because we started on like level 2 and we had to get up to level 4. So at SoFi, they have escalators which are running all the time, which is fantastic. Yes. So if you're going to go to SoFi, they have escalators to get up to the higher decks. So you're not having to climb ridiculous amounts of stairs. And then I'm sure they have elevators if you have an even bigger handicap. But yeah, the escalators are awesome. That's like my number one about SoFi is the escalators.
Yes.
Those are great.
Now, we got to our seats, and it was the first time I've ever seen a WrestleMania in person. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, though, even though the ring was kind of small, a ways away, the ramp and the stage was excellent.
It was very, very nice. It was very pretty. It looked like
The Oscars.
It looked like the Oscars.
Whenever WrestleMania comes to Los Angeles, they take advantage of the Hollywood.
Yep.
So it's always WrestleMania goes Hollywood.
It was beautiful. It looked like a huge red carpet on these stairs.
Right.
There was just gold everywhere, flashing lights.
It was like a movie premiere.
Yes, there was. They basically, each superstar kind of recreated a movie poster.
Right.
And they had those on screens kind of...
flashing around
off and on. It was very, very pretty. It was really, really, really nice. It was a beautiful setup. I mean, you can just see, especially from where we were sitting, just all the work and the setup and the machinery that goes into it. That's always kind of what fascinates me about these things, is just all the work that goes into it.
Yeah, you can't one thing you can't deny about WWE is they know how to make a good presentation.
They sure do.
You know, they really crank it up for WrestleMania. It really feels like an event. Yep. So we had the national anthem, not the national anthem. It was America the
Beautiful.
WWE always plays America the Beautiful. Mm-hmm. I've always thought America the Beautiful was a prettier song than the national anthem. Personally, ooh, yeah. I always felt that way.
From the protests.
What do you think? Do you prefer which song? Do you prefer?
Whatever.
Okay.
Like whatever.
Who sang it?
Becky G.
I'm not familiar with her.
Becky G. She's like a Latina poppy star, I guess.
Makes sense.
She's actually been here to Fresno, so that's how I know who she is. But yeah, it was definitely someone that's like recognizable. And yeah, she did a great job. It was pretty.
Opening match of night one was John Cena versus Austin Theory,
which was cool.
Now we bought 2 shirts. Mm-hmm. We bought 2 shirts in a program. The program is massive. I bought one is now. Liz wanted a Becky Lynch, the man shirt. Mm-hmm. I do have one here from several years ago, but we wanted to see if there was any new Becky Lynch shirts. There was none there. I guess because, I'll get more into that later, but we got one for just a generic WrestleMania 39 I Was There shirt with, the front, the poster on it. And the other one was John Cena's new merch, which is...
it's basically a G.I. Joe shirt.
Yeah,
well, with John Cena. John Cena, and then on the back, they're all...
The facts you read were just hilarious.
The many faces of John Cena, like he's a secret agent or something. And then there's like...
His powers and abilities. Invisibility is one of his powers.
Profile. Yeah, his profile. Yeah, it's a cool shirt. It's a cool shirt.
So, first Austin Theory comes down. Well, first before that, they had The Miz and Snoop Dogg. They're like the hosts.
They were the hosts, so we got to see Snoop, which is cool.
The Miz is the host, meaning that The Miz didn't have anything better to do, so we'll just make him the host. And Snoop Dogg was there, which was also really cool. So Austin Theory came out. Then they had this promo advertisement for Make-A-Wish. Because John Cena's big. I think he holds the record for most Make-A-Wish granted completions. Yeah.
So it makes sense that's... He walked out to... and there was a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids on the stage, and, right. So that was cool.
That was cool. And, of course, John came out doing his whole thing, and the kids were there.
Yeah.
So they had their match. The match itself was fine. It was a very basic match, but at the same time, I've watched John Cena his whole career, and at this point, you can really see John Cena's age starting to show. He's not like it was 10 years ago when he was just... unstoppable.
Still in great shape.
For his age, his age is like you're older than me. He's way better than my ass.
Still in excellent shape, but yeah, he's definitely not going to be... There's a reason he only wrestles twice a year.
Yeah, and he doesn't, doesn't have the regular schedule, so it's going to be working at a slower pace.
Yeah.
Austin Theory got the win. Classic heel. There was a ref bump, and then he hit John in the nuts, and then hit the A-Town down for the win. So, not surprising. It was for the United States Championship.
They're not putting a title on John Cena.
I don't know what you think. I wish they didn't. It wasn't for the U.S. title, because then there would be a little more
fun.
More, or at least, not what I mean is that there was more of a chance that John was going to win. Mm-hmm. It was more up in the air. It was for the U.S. title. Okay, John's not winning that.
Right.
He's not going to go on the red carpet with on Barbie or for its premiere with the U.S. title on his shoulder. Right. Next, we had the 4-way tag team showcase match. Braun Strowman and Ricochet, the Viking Raiders, the Alpha Academy. And who was the fourth team?
Street Profits.
Street Profits, yes. Mm-hmm. the best thing about this, well, the match itself was really good, but to me the best thing was the Viking Raiders.
The Viking Raiders are just, their presence is so cool.
Yes.
Like, when they came up on the stage, I looked over at Eugene and I said, this looks like a video game. Like, they look like video game characters. Their face paint, Valhalla, who is the lady who comes out with them, she's intense.
Yeah, Sarah Logan is her real name, but she is like, I think, the thing that puts it over the edge.
Yeah.
She looks so great.
Freaking badass, and they're wearing like fur, and she's walking out barefoot, and she's got like ink on her fingers, and her face is all... Looks great.
And she never does anything. She never gets involved.
Yeah,
she never throws the clothes on.
She just looks cool.
I wouldn't mess with her.
I mean, they look, what a great picture. Every time they would do their little pose, I'm like, what an awesome picture, you know? They look amazing. As far as aesthetics is concerned, they're my favorite.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I know they don't win anything, but they're my favorite, aesthetically speaking.
There was this funny segment in the match where everyone was doing body flips or jumps off the top rope.
Yeah.
You were really impressed with one of the Viking Raiders. Actually got up to the top rope and did a backflip. He's a big guy.
The big one.
Yeah.
The big Viking did a backflip off the top rope, and that was intense.
It was funny when Braun Strowman climbed up, and I was like, no, Braun ain't doing no backflip. He was barely, you can tell he was like not very comfortable.
7 feet tall.
He was like, oh.
Yeah.
He got up there and was able to do like a splash. That was fun. Street Profits won.
Yep.
Made sense. Made sense. Up next was Logan Paul, Liz's favorite wrestler, against Seth freaking Rollins. You know, as much as we don't like Logan Paul, and he is kind of annoying, you gotta give credit where credit is due.
The guy's a wrestler.
He's in shape. He's like, what, 210?
210.
Just
very lean.
Trim. Lean.
210. He looks like a wrestler.
Yes, he looks... He did like a mockery or kind of a parody of the Shawn Michaels entrance from WrestleMania. I believe it was 12, where for his main event against Bret Hart, Shawn came down the rope,
on like a zip line.
Zip line, yeah. So he kind of did the same thing.
Except Logan Paul's was different in the sense that Logan Paul was holding on with one hand to like a bar.
Very impressive, yeah.
Shawn Michaels was like strapped in, I think.
Yeah.
Logan Paul, and that was away.
Yeah.
From where he started, it picked him up and then transported him into the ring.
Guy's got guts.
That was away. That's a massive muscle grip right there.
So there was a guy in a bottle suit. I guess he's promoting his drink or something, or whatever it was.
Yeah, the primes. We don't drink them, we don't promote them, but that's what it was.
Right. Seth Rollins came out. First, they had a conductor conducting his song.
His intro, which was cool.
Which was cool.
Really cool.
He came out with this amazing red coat. I have no idea what Seth Rollins' character is, but he's just awesome. Character. Right? He's just his
character is him.
Yeah, he's just so over the top.
He's him.
Now, here's the funny thing. This match was great, but this match was also kind of ruined by an unexpected bad guy in this match. And that bad guy was the giant screen that's in SoFi Stadium.
The circular screen.
There's a big circular screen, and a lot of people will look at that screen in our area to see what's going on. The screen glitched out.
Screen glitched out for at least half of the match.
I don't know how it was. Yeah, I don't know how it was on watching it at home, but in the stadium, people were pissed.
In the stadium, maybe at home, you could hear the chants of "fix the screen."
Yeah,
that started because this match was going on, and us in deck 4, at least starting in deck 3, up couldn't see really. I mean, you do rely a lot on those screens. You know, when you go to concerts, you rely on that big screen because you can't see the artist. So
you really had to then watch the ring. I started watching the ring. I could see what was happening.
Right.
But it just would have been a lot easier if it was a screen.
And it glitched out right when one of them was doing some cool, suplex or move or something. And it was like, did he land it? Like, what happened? It just glitched out. And so that was out it had to have been 10 minutes.
Right.
And it wasn't that it was a black screen.
It was like green with lines.
Yeah, and then they had the WrestleMania logo up there.
It reminds me of when you try to put a cartridge in the old NES, but it's not working. You just get that green screen.
It was just kind of that kind of sucked. I mean, was a little frustrating. One thing about AT&T Stadium is that did not happen. So
yes, Jerry Jones was going to let that happen.
The screen is way bigger, and that never happened while we were there. But anyways, that's an old story. But yeah, that was kind of the bummer. That wasn't the case when we were there for the LA Bowl.
No.
During the LA Bowl, it worked the whole time, but we were also closer to the football field.
Yeah.
And it was a football field. It wasn't this tiny square.
Yeah, you didn't have to watch the screen. You could see the field and see what's going on just fine. The screen finally came back. Everyone cheered. Seth took control. Then that boo bottle guy, it revealed himself. I'm sure the guy inside is like some sort of YouTuber. He must be. We're not as hip, so we don't know who it was, but he was there. He was helping Logan out. He was trying to take a selfie with Rollins when he was laid out on the table. Rollins pulled him on the table just as Logan was coming off the top rope to splash him. In the end, Seth Rollins won. Really good match, I thought.
It was good. Yeah. It was good. Those two have really amazing energy.
And you know what's so funny? I actually predicted that match was going to happen like early last year. I just thought it would be kind of cool to see Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Because Seth Rollins is so great and Logan Paul is good enough that this actually be a celebrity match that can actually be really, really good.
Yeah.
And it turned out that way.
Yep.
So next up we had the cool down match. And what I mean is it's the match, some people call it the death spot. It's like right after there's a really great match in the middle of the card, then you have this other match that comes on, and everyone's just kind of exactly.
The want.
It was a 6-woman tag match between Damage Control, Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus. Now, Becky Lynch is one of the most popular stars in this company.
I love her. I think she's great.
I've always loved Becky Lynch.
I love her fiery red hair.
Yeah, she's awesome. It just kind of felt like this year's WrestleMania she was kind of an afterthought.
Yep, I agree. I feel like they should have and could have done a lot more with her.
Well, originally the plan was she was supposed to take on Ronda Rousey. And I think it was going to be Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch
Well,
for the
I'm
title.
actually glad that didn't happen then.
Well, Becky was the one that vetoed it because Ronda's not as hot as she once was.
Oh, right.
But ever since then, though, it seems like then they didn't really have any kind of idea for what Becky or Ronda to do.
Yeah.
So Becky started this feud with Bayley and Damage Control, which is like Bayley's crew, and it was cool at first, but then it's one of those things like, how can I always take these guys, this gang seriously when they're always losing? Yeah. What really killed Damage Control was when I watched Extreme Rules, where Bianca Belair literally beat all 3 of those women by herself.
Yeah, not the best match of the evening.
And the whole thing is that Becky kept beating Bayley, but then they would team up and beat up on her. So she brought in 2 legends, kind of dusted them off, Lita and Trish Stratus. And it's not that the match was bad. It's just that the crowd really wasn't that into it.
No, it's not that it was bad. It's just it wasn't great.
It's just that I wasn't into the storyline to begin with.
Yeah, myself, and again, I always speak on wrestling as like a mediocre wrestling fan. Damage Control annoys me already, and then Becky Lynch, for being so popular and so cool, like she should have her own thing.
Right.
I feel like she should have her own thing. Geez, start a feud with something. She should be her own main. She should not be a mid-card wrestling these
in a multi-woman tag match.
In a multi-woman tag match with these 2 historian WWE stars and this group that no one can seem to place anywhere either. Because of the 2 teams, we mentioned this the other day, like, for example, for Damage Control, their best wrestler is, what's her name?
Io Sky.
Io Sky. And on the other side, the best wrestler is also Becky Lynch. So maybe that should be a thing.
Right.
But the whole 6-woman, no. It wasn't cool. And then they brought back, like, Lita and Trish. And now, unfortunately, Lita and Becky are tag team champs
for some reason.
So it's like, okay, so at some point they're going to drop that because Lita's going to need to go home,
Right.
And then Trish was just kind of an extra. So, I don't know. It was just kind of, the storyline was just weird. It was an unnecessary match. It was a time filler.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm sure some people liked it.
I'm sure, like, the intro was kind of cool. They tried to do, like, this whole comic book thing.
Yeah,
the teaming
intro,
up.
right. That was cool. It was like Batman intro. That was the coolest part.
Right. Now, next up, we had Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio.
The match everyone has been waiting for.
I loved everything about this. Loved everything about it. They had Dominic come out. They did this whole prison entrance for Dominic, which was hilarious.
It was so ridiculous. Also, everyone, I'm over Dominic Mysterio, so I'm very much over him.
But for that though, being an annoying heel, he plays it very well.
Yes.
Everyone wanted to see Dominic get his ass kicked. The
whiny heel, yeah.
They came out like this prison van.
Yeah.
They let him out. And he was wearing a mask. They didn't find out later that the mask he was wearing was actually a famous mask that Rey Mysterio first wore, like back in the 90s. So that was cool. That was a cool little touch for the historians.
Yeah.
They took the cuffs on him like he's so badass.
He's so bad with this dumb little teardrop on his face.
Teardrop, 150 pounds soaking wet.
Oh my gosh, stupid mullet.
Then we had Rey Mysterio's entrance, which was my favorite.
Was the coolest.
Snoop Dogg's Ain't Nothing But a G Thing starts playing.
Yep.
And then you look in the big screen, and there's Snoop Dogg driving Rey to the ring in
like an Impala.
Yep. Then they started playing Eddie Guerrero's theme song, Lie, Cheat, and Steal, which everyone loved. That was great. Because I told Liz, that's what Eddie used to do, back in the day. He would come in one of the Impalas down to the ring. So they did that with Snoop and Rey. Then Rey's came up. Biggest pop of the night, I thought. Everyone loved Rey. The match, I thought the match was really great when it came to storytelling.
Yep. I think it hopefully it puts a period at the end of something. Hopefully.
Well, they are going to do another one because
or a semicolon or something.
It just wants this to be over.
Maybe a semicolon at the end of this story.
Well, with that being said, though, like I said, everything was just mapped out great. Rey dominated first. Yep. Dominic got in his mom's face to get the distraction. Rey got advantage again. Out came Judgment Day to help Rey out. Phantasma came out to even the odds. And Dominic got a chain, and Bad Bunny, who was at ringside to do commentary, took the chain from him. And that allowed Rey to hit him with the 619 and the splash to get the win. Yep. I thought that was great.
Yep.
The whole thing was fantastic.
Bad Bunny, everybody.
Oh, geez. What? Let's see. Was the women's title match next? I believe so.
Next was the whole Miz spot, wasn't the Miz?
Yeah. It was Miz and Snoop Dogg and Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee made a surprise appearance. Snoop Dogg made a match between him and the Miz, which was okay, fine, whatever. The funniest thing is that for some reason, George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers was in the audience. And he helped Pat McAfee.
Clotheslined the Miz.
Yeah.
And now he'll be in the Hall of Fame for that.
I remember later that night when we were in the hotel or other people were talking and they brought that segment. One guy says, "Why was George Kittle there?" I guess Aaron Donald wasn't available or something.
Yeah, the Rams were too busy.
So we had the women's SmackDown Women's Championship match. Mm-hmm. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
To me, this was my favorite match of the night. I thought it was just a great wrestling match between these two. The first thing said is that both women are very equally.
I feel that they're equal as far as ability and strength and stuff. They seem to be very equal. Yeah, they look body type different, but they seem to be equally strong and equally capable. So I feel like it was a very, very well paired up match.
Rhea was the bad guy, Charlotte was the good guy, but everyone wanted Rhea to win.
But it didn't feel that way as far as hearing the chants and stuff. Yeah, everyone cheered for Rhea like crazy. So
yeah, it's Rhea's a big woman, and yet Charlotte dwarfs her. That's just Charlotte just looks like she just walked out of a
very tall.
She looks like she walked out of a Wonder Woman comic book.
Yeah, Charlotte is very, very tall.
Yeah, so many great so many great moves. It went a while, about 20 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, it did.
Is this the greatest wrestling women's match in WrestleMania history? It just might be. I know Bianca and Sasha Banks had a good one a couple years ago, but I think it might be up there. But But yeah, it was great. Rhea won. Everyone was happy.
Yep.
The main event was for the tag titles. The Usos against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yep.
What do you think of this match, honey?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine.
There was one element about this match that annoyed both of us.
All the super kicks.
There had to be like 50 super kicks in
There's so many endless super kicks. There's nothing that I'm a mediocre wrestling fan, but nothing annoys me more than when superstars or whatever just use one move the entire time. It's the same reason I don't like watching Brock Lesnar matches, because he only does like two things the entire time. And apparently the Usos are the same. Like once their opponent is like a little weak, it's just super kick city, double super kick.
It's a super kick party.
Yeah, single super kick, double super kick off the top rope, super kick off the bottom rope, and it's just it's a little pestering.
Ain't no party like a super kick party.
Yeah, because people will leave. That's why. Yeah, I don't.
Remember back in the day when Shawn Michaels hit people with one super kick,
sweet chin music,
and that was it.
And these guys can't, like, they at one point sandwiched both of them, I think, each of them with super kicks,
right? And
it didn't work. So it's like, well, do something else, like they do. Yeah. So that part really annoyed me, but that's what the Uso matches are, though.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of super kicks. Like, they're cool for their super kicks, I guess.
One thing we both agree on is that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn do a great job selling.
They can take a beat down.
It reminds me a lot of Bret Hart.
Yep.
Like Bret Hart back in the day, he could sell a beating. Like you really got behind him because, oh my God, this guy's getting his ass kicked.
Yep.
It's the same thing with Sami and Kevin. There were so many times where they looked almost dead.
Yeah. Those two guys. I mean, and Kevin Owens, for being a huskier guy.
You always say that about Kevin Owens. He always looks like he could be your plumber.
Yeah. Kevin Owens, for being a huskier guy, you don't think he's in, like, shape, but man, like...
He flies all over the place.
Very much so.
He's great.
Yeah. I enjoyed that match because I enjoyed the result of the match. And because I think everyone was expecting the result of this match to be this way.
And they delivered.
Right. It was a great match. It was as expected. The Usos finally lost their titles, which is great. And it went to a couple of good guys who are now friends again. So that story is complete, right? So that circle found closure.
Right. The good guys won.
Which is not always...
It should be at WrestleMania. For the top matches, the good guys should win. You want people to go home feeling... Or at least the ones that people really want to see win.
At least the ones
you feel good.
Who deserve the push,
Right.
So they won, and that was fun. Their celebration was really cool. I mean, they just hugged it out in the middle of the ring, and I mean, for me personally, as not an Uso fan, it was fun to finally see them lose, because honestly, I don't think they're that good. So, they're not that good. They're just, they're part of the family line, and that's why people like them. So, but anyways, whatever.
And I remember just everyone leaving after you had this great feeling, and it was just a great show, and everyone was talking how great it was. So I want to thank my wife for that, because that was a great experience. I mean, I to actually be there at a WrestleMania, to take advantage of it, because it was just 3 hours away from where we live, to actually
go there. It was
cool.
And it was cool. It was a fun experience for me to go to, too. I mean, it was really cool. I mean... If they come around again, will it be something that we do again? Sure, maybe. Should WWE just make it all in one night? Yeah.
Well, no, here's the thing. They did that at first, but they turned into 8-hour shows.
Well, then, that's why it's an event.
Honey, sitting there for 8 and 9 hours.
That would be terrible, actually.
Would probably end me.
It's hard to sit through a Marvel movie, right? Much less an 8-hour show.
Starting a show at 3 and it ends at midnight. Oof. And you're trying to get out of there. So I'm glad that he split them up into 2 nights. But I know you felt bad because we didn't get I wanted to see the Cody Rhodes match, and that turned out to be night 2.
Right.
Now
let's talk about
night 2. Now, so we drove home and we watched night 2 at home.
Mm-hmm.
First was Brock Lesnar versus Omos.
Let's start by saying that watching from home is probably a little better because you're sitting on your couch. You're sitting on your couch and the view is exceptional and you can eat whatever snacks you want.
Okay. Brock Lesnar versus Omos. And the funny thing on night one, they did a lot of hyping for this match.
Yep.
Brock Lesnar, he's the beast. But he's never faced anyone like Omos. He's
Right.
7'4". His hands are bigger than this.
Yeah. They were really pumping.
His penis is bigger than this bus.
Yeah, they were really pumped. It was like Ali was taking the ring. Like, it was like an Ali match. Like, that's how big of a deal they were making it.
And Omos is physically impressive. I will say this. He's a very tall guy. I wasn't looking forward to this match at all.
No.
But it opened night 2, and I will say for what it was okay. They actually booked it perfectly. Mm-hmm. It was only a few minutes long.
Yeah, because that's all these big guys can do. They can't do...
But it can be good. It can be cool when they hit power moves. Right. It can be cool.
Right.
Omos dominated Brock for a little bit, did the bear hug, which is straight Andre and Hulk.
Big time.
Of course, it all led up to the moment where Brock hit the F5 on Omos, which was cool. The crowd loved it. The thing about Omos, though, if he wants to be this big dominator, he needs to start winning more matches. He lost to Bobby Lashley, he lost to Braun Strowman, and he lost again to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he's a lot of talk for someone who's not that good. Like, he wins all the, like, against the little weenie opponents.
Right.
Like
I know. Elias and those guys.
The little fill-in opponents. That's who he wins against.
Right.
Anyways.
We had the women's tag match. It was what it was. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler won, of course, because of course they would. Got to see my girl Liv Morgan, so that's cool. Then the third match was... the Triple Threat Intercontinental title match.
Oh, right.
Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. You just want to talk about three big guys just beating the hell out of each other.
And this is when the night unraveled, I think.
Well, I thought it was a great match.
It was a great match, but... I mean, we were kind of going for
Sheamus.
Another title that we were hoping would get dropped.
I will say this: you're right.
Yeah.
The match itself was great. It was
great for a bunch of big guys. Yeah.
Well, first of all, you're asking like there's no way you can fake that. It's just these three guys just beating the living crap out of each other. Yeah, it was just amazing. Yeah. And it was a great fight.
I love Drew McIntyre. I'm a fan of Drew McIntyre.
I like all three guys.
I love his whole Scottish thing and the sword and.
You were like, honey, look, he's wearing white.
Yeah, he was wearing white, which is pretty cool. He always wears like black panties, so the white was cool.
So Gunther retained the title. Keep that in mind. Because we're going to see more of that. Then we had the train wreck moment where we once again had another Miz Snoop Dogg segment. For some reason, they decided to impromptu put Miz on another match. Mm-hmm. Like I said, when we were there as Pat McAfee, of all the people they chose, they went with Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon made who is almost 60.
I mean, they might as well have just gotten his dad.
He goes out there.
Oh, dear.
He's blown up on the walk on the ramp.
Yeah, the walk on the ramp. He gets to the ring and he's like,
I'm so emotional. Thank you so much. That means so much to me.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg starts the match. Shane starts throwing his awful punches at Miz. He throws Miz in the ring. Shane does a leapfrog.
Oh,
he lands. He blows out his quad.
Oh, it was his quad?
It was his quad that blew out.
Dear. And then he tried to get up and then fell again.
Legit injury. And you always know it's legit when they don't show it on the screen. But you know, and that must have been something for the crowd. The crowd must have been like, oh, that's not good. Yeah. So Snoop Dogg, to his credit, was able to like jury rig a finish on the fly. He just kind of took over. He just kind of hit Miz and then did like the worst but hilarious people elbow ever.
I mean, he was Snoop Dogg, right?
Right.
And officially, Snoop is 1-0 at
WrestleMania. Oh, just Shane.
Shane, come on.
Well, you know what makes it worse, honey?
I hope his wife is just like, I told you not to do it.
No more rings shenanigans.
I told you not to do it. But, all right.
You know what's worse, honey? Bobby Lashley was there. They had nothing for him at WrestleMania.
They could have used Bobby Lashley.
He won originally Bobby Lashley was supposed to face Bray Wyatt. But something happened to Bray. I don't know what's going on with him. So Bobby didn't have a match. So they just threw him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He won it. The whole time he's been talking about, I'm going to challenge, if an open challenge, I want anyone to challenge me for a match at WrestleMania. So I'm like, okay, they're going to do something.
And then no one
He came out there with his trophy, waved, and left. That's such a waste of Bobby.
I'm such a fan of Bobby Lashley. And I say it every time. It's such a waste. They wasted him for like 2 years with Brock Lesnar. They finally got rid of Brock Lesnar to someone else. And then Bobby just got kind of kicked to the curb. And now he just comes out and waves and fills in these like, hey, anyone come and get me. And then no one comes and gets him. And it's like...
I mean, it's not a great option, but... Why couldn't you have Bobby Lashley come out there and just kick the hell out of The Miz? I mean,
yes.
Okay.
Even that would have been something.
At least something. Give him a match,
Even that would have been something. I even mentioned to you...
He gets his arm raised by Snoop Dogg at the end.
Yeah, I even mentioned to you, honey, that it would have... Like, what if Bobby Lashley had interrupted the Omos Brock Lesnar match or something? Because he's had beef with both of
those
them,
guys,
apparently.
Right.
That would have even been better than just... And presenting the Battle Royal winner, Bobby Lashley. Like he just won, principals list at school.
Right.
And then he turns around and walks, wearing a suit. Yeah. And he turns around and walks away. And it's like, what a waste of talent.
Right.
What a waste of talent. I think he looks so cool. He's such a big, big dude. And they're not, and instead WWE's using their time on Brock Lesnar, which I can't get over. I mean, whatever. Anyways.
So we had the Raw Women's Title match between Bianca Belair and Asuka. Mm-hmm. It was a really good match. Mm-hmm. I think it was very good. It was a great match. Bianca won, which fine. I'm just getting kind of tired of Bianca. Yeah. I mean, I like Bianca. Bianca's cool, but she's been the champion so long.
Yes, this is what's so annoying. Why are people holding titles for years and years on end?
It's like, oh my God.
So old. And then,
well, first they had the Hall of Fame introduction. We saw all the people who went in the Hall of Fame.
So that was cool.
No Batista. He's filming a movie right now, that's why.
Dave Batista's in South Africa, I think, doing My Spy 2 or something. But still, Dave, my man.
I know, I would love to see Dave
Batista would have been heck cool. Instead, he's probably going to show up next year in freaking Philadelphia. Whatever.
Then we get to the main event. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Universal Championship.
Speaking of holding titles too long.
Now, after WrestleMania, Triple H bragged about how this was the most successful, profitable WrestleMania of all time.
No kidding.
$20 million. Well, here's the reason why. Because you had a main event that people were interested in.
Right.
You had a main event. A lot of problem with WrestleMania the past several years is that they've had a lot of main events where people just weren't that interested in them.
Right.
They were trying to make it out to be a bigger... was anyone really that excited for Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns last year for the unified WWE Universal Champion? No.
I don't know.
We wanted to see Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns and become the WWE Champion.
Because let's think back to last year.
Yeah.
Okay, remember I said night one is where Cody came back. Do you remember, honey, how excited you were?
Yes.
When you saw Cody Rhodes come down that ramp?
Yes.
My husband, I can attest, jumped off of the couch with how excited he was to see Cody Rhodes. And he had to explain to me, he's like, this is Dusty Rhodes' son, and oh my God, he's in WrestleMania, and his dad, and the whole history, the whole history of it. So for an entire year, it's like, heck yeah. They're going to use Cody. They're going to, yes. Cody. I mean, I tell Eugene all the time, Cody Rhodes has a face for this. He has the face. He should be the face of this company.
Yes.
He's a great speaker. He wears amazing suits. He needs to be the face of WWE.
He's a great technical wrestler. He can go
right. Yes, he's a great technical. He's a real wrestler.
Yes.
He's a real wrestler. So then it's for an entire year, people are saying
He won the Rumble.
He won
got
everything.
The shot.
For an entire year, it's like, oh, people are saying that Cody's finally going to be the one. When we finally realized that The Rock wasn't going to do it, oh, it's going to be Cody Rhodes to dethrone Roman Reigns.
It's going to happen,
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Now, he comes out first, and then Roman Reigns got his entrance, which was cool. They had a bunch of pianos playing his theme song.
That was very classic, like 6. There's like 6 grand pianos on the stage playing his walkout song before like the real walkout, which was really, really cool. But I mean, Cody Rhodes' song, his entrance.
He
walked out.
Family was there.
His family. He walked out and kissed his wife.
Yeah.
He kissed his daughter. I mean, the guy's a family. Like, you see this and you're like, yes, like we're wrapping up the family thing. Like, this guy's doing it for his family. He can't believe he's here right now. Go ahead. The rest just hurts my feelings.
Roman comes out, and look, it's not that I hate Roman. I don't hate Roman at all. I like Roman. When Roman first turned into a bad guy, it was cool because he's a heel now. He's more of his natural role. The bloodline thing was cool. The problem is it was going on for so long. And now we finally have the right guy. Okay, we had Drew McIntyre, who had his shot in Europe. He didn't get it done.
He also would have been the right guy.
I get that. I would have liked to see Drew, but all right. Sami Zayn had his shot last month in his hometown. People really like Sami. You know, he got past Sami. Okay, fine. This is going to pay off. Sami's going to win the titles with Kevin. That happened. We got Roman and Cody. It's all set. The match itself, I thought, was fantastic.
The match was great.
It was 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes of great back and forth.
I think I mentioned that I felt like that was the longest I've seen Roman Reigns in a ring.
Right.
Like, the dude was huffing and puffing.
Right.
Like,
he was working. He had his work boots on.
He was hauling ass. Like, because Cody Rhodes is... I mean, he's in wrestling, again, he's in very good wrestling shape because, like, Roman Reigns kind of peeks in and out of the ring from time to time.
Right.
So, but Cody Rhodes kind of is wrestling consistently, you know, and...
They had great chemistry.
It was great.
Roman is the power guy.
The
Cody
banter,
is the... Yeah. Cody's
even the crowd.
Roman is a great shit talker.
The crowd was split.
Yes, at first. I was surprised
There
by
was
that.
no, like, overwhelming crowd favorite.
At least at first.
At least not with the walkouts.
Yeah,
right?
Cody had some boos.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people that were loyal to the bloodline, loyal to Roman. But as the match built, and it built, and it built, you could feel some more turning on Roman and more getting behind Cody. It was building, it was building.
Because let's remind everyone that the thing that annoys me about the bloodline is that they can't win on their own.
Yeah, that's
they cannot win on their own. So Roman Reigns comes out to the ring with what's his name,
Paul Heyman, his manager,
and Solo Sikoa, who is the new nephew.
Yeah,
who
the muscle,
basically the bodyguard, right?
Yeah,
comes out to the ring, and it's the three of them, and it's like, okay, well, obviously, Sikoa's gonna
get involved,
obviously, and he did. Like twice. Yeah. Right?
Referee caught him.
The referee finally caught him, quote unquote, and then ejects him from the ringside. Right. Great. Finally. It's one-on-one. And then,
you know, of course, in every Roman Reigns match, we have to have the ref bump.
The ref bump.
The ref gets hit, gets taken out.
And then.
Here come the Usos.
They start being on Cody. Dirty. Starting beating up on Cody.
Here comes Kevin and Sami.
Who won last night. They won the previous night. So they're set.
Like, they beat down the Usos. Kevin hit Roman with the stunner.
Yes.
Sami hit him with the haluva kick.
Yes.
And the Owens and Sami fight the Usos away.
And by the way, the Usos didn't need to beat the Usos. Look. WWE, if you're listening to this podcast, the Usos had their chance. They've lost the title. Let's take some attention off of the Usos.
Well,
please. Like, they lost.
They're still...
Let's let the other kids have their time now.
They're still loyal to Roman, so it makes sense.
For now.
It makes sense they would still be out there, but it also makes sense for Kevin and Sami to fight them off.
Well, no, but what's going to happen... Okay, and I know I'm verging on a tangent right now. But what's going to happen is it's going to be the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for like 3 months. Or until SummerSlam, or so. It's going to be just them forever. Until either the Usos win it back again, or the Zayn Owens group loses it to someone else by chance. It's, let the Usos take a vacation or something. Jeez, I'm sorry. It's just, ugh.
So Cody hits Roman with the crossroads.
Like two of them.
Two of them. He was doing the same finisher he did last year with Seth. He was about to hit the third. Heyman is distracting the referee. Solo Sikoa comes in and gives Cody the spike, and then Roman hits the spear. Referee turns 1, 2, 3, and I was so
Roman Reigns won.
Deflated.
Roman Reigns, won again. He kept the titles. America, what is happening? WWE, what the heck, man? Like, you had your shot. Everyone wanted it. Everyone except for a handful of people wanted it. It was like your chance. Here we are again, like a waste of beautiful talent. Like, this story has been being told for a year. This beautiful story. And then Roman wins again. And not even under his own power. Like, someone has to win for him. Solo Sikoa, who, doesn't face anyone on his own ever, comes in and, destroys this guy.
It's bad enough that Roman won. It's also what made it more insulting was how he won.
Exactly.
Because it's the same thing over.
Every time.
They did the same thing with Drew McIntyre. It's Solo Sikoa. It's Roman not being able to... Roman's supposed to be this dominant champion, yet he never wins on his own.
He never wins on his own, and this is what annoys me about Roman Reigns and this bloodline so much, is that they don't win on their own. Like, to them, it's not...
I get it.
It's almost like
heel stuff. I get it, but WWE just takes it and just runs it into the ground.
Yeah, they're just, man, come on.
I'm so glad we went to night 1, because if we went to night 2 and we left, we would have been so upset.
You mentioned that. You mentioned that you would have been completely destroyed if we had left WrestleMania on night 2 with that ending, which is true, because
it was a terrible ending. No matter what you can say.
It was awful. Apparently, you can watch the live crowd reaction from that night. I saw earlier on YouTube that they have, because what we see on TV is filtered and whatever, right?
Right.
But apparently there's somehow that you can actually hear and see the real live crowd reaction from SoFi Stadium, which was not good.
No.
But come on. So I'm so over. I mean, when that happened, I was upset because I was so happy for Cody. I mean, I was cheering for Cody on our couch.
Yeah.
I was clapping and Cody, and then when that happened, I was just well, what's the WWE? The WWE is just Roman Reigns. That's it. Why do I don't want to watch anymore. I don't want to buy anymore. I don't want to go anymore because Roman Reigns is just going to win everything. I don't know if they're trying to get him to his 1,000 days. Maybe that's some record they're trying to break right now. I don't know, but it's just as kind of an outsider looking in, it's a little annoying because and I was the whole time I was oh, this is great. Cody's gonna win. Roman's gonna go make some movies and come back in 3 years, like The Rock did, No, no. I was upset. What did I say? I said Triple H sucks. WWE is terrible because it's not creative.
Right.
The creativeness of this is not there. How freaking predictable. Okay, one of the Usos or the little brother is going to come out and win a match for Roman Reigns against the guy who really deserves to win it because, it's anyways, whatever.
Well, it's my turn to rant because I got something to say to close this out. Where does WrestleMania take place next year?
Philadelphia.
What famous character came from Philadelphia?
Rocky. Guys.
Are we doing this, WWE? No, seriously. No, strap in. Are we doing this, WWE? Are we going to do another year-long build to another theoretical Roman Reigns versus The Rock for the WWE Universal Championship? Because we all know that's the match they want. That's the match that they want to have. I don't know if people are going to be that excited for it as they think it's going to be.
No.
But now I'm convinced that WWE is never going to take the titles off of Roman. Because they don't have the courage to. They don't have the courage to do it. They don't want to take the titles off their guy. They're going to keep this going as long as they possibly can. It won't be until Roman finally retires. He is going to retire champion, I swear. Because now there's no one else. Well, and people are asking, well, maybe Gunther will challenge Roman. Like Gunther's not going to be challenging Roman. It's going to be Roman. It's going to be The Rock in next year's main event. I believe
it's going to be terrible.
I believe that finally next year they're going to. It's got to the point where I feel like they're going to have to try to kidnap The Rock's daughter in order to force him to compete. But it's going to be Roman and The Rock because it's all about Roman. They're never going to take the titles off because they don't have the courage to. They don't have the courage to try anything new. They're just going to keep on keeping on. They're going to brag about how much money this WrestleMania made. It made money because people were there because they wanted to see Cody. They wanted to see the end of the storyline, and you didn't deliver. You didn't deliver. And so it's not going to happen. Roman's going to retire. It's going to take Roman himself saying, look, I've had enough. You can have your titles back. I'm going to retire. I'm going to go make movies. But they're going to keep Roman because they can't ever beat Roman. It's been 3 or 4 years since he's last taken a pinfall loss. Cody Rhodes this year, they're going to be throwing him a bunch of bones. He's gonna get a win over Brock Lesnar at Backlash. He'll win King of the Ring. I'm sure that later he'll have feuds with guys like Finn Balor. Oh, I forgot something.
Oh, we forgot that match.
We'll get there in just a moment. Finn Balor, he'll have Edge, AJ Styles, and I'm sure he'll win the United States Championship from Austin Theory, which technically is the most high-profile title on Raw because the two main titles are on SmackDown because Roman only works SmackDown. But it's just we got rid of our cable recently, so we won't. We won't be watching you. You don't have USA Network, so we can't watch Raw. I ain't gonna miss it. Tell you the truth. So there you go. That's my feelings on that. Let's now quickly talk about the match that we skipped over.
I can't believe we
went straight to Roman bitching about Roman and Cody.
Yeah.
There was a Hell in a Cell match between Edge and Finn Balor.
Demon Finn Balor. Whatever that means.
I think this is a match I enjoyed more than you did.
Probably.
I love the Hell in a Cell, and I think this is the right feud to end. You use Hell in a Cell to be the end of a feud.
Maybe that's where they need to put Roman Reigns is in a Hell in a Cell.
He'll find a way to win.
I guess.
It's Hell in a Cell. It's the Demon's Playground, which is funny because the whole thing was promoted by that new Pope's Exorcist movie. Yeah. They even had Russell Crowe make an monologue to introduce the match. Crazy. All that stuff was really cool. You had Edge come out, not in the old Brood music, but he came out with the Brood entrance. He had a really cool mask on.
Yeah.
Kind of a mirror mask. I think this is the first time Liz got to see Finn Balor as the Demon Balor.
No, I've seen it before.
You just don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
He puts on face paint. Not suddenly he's so different.
He puts on a shit ton of paint. And the night before, he came out to the side of the ring looking like a gangster. I don't get it. I don't get it. And you had mentioned to me Ultimate Warrior wore face paint. Yeah, but he wore it all the time. Yeah. It's not like he came out one day as Ultimate Warrior and the next day he came out as Jim.
Right.
He was that was always his shtick. Right. That was the thing. So yeah, It was a good match.
Very hardcore. Live chairs.
And then...
Oh, best part.
The best part for me was when Edge threw the ladder at Finn Balor, and you clearly saw that it actually hit Finn Balor in the freaking face. And then they had to cut away from Finn for a while.
Because the doctors came in to staple his head back together.
He got 14 staples.
Ugh.
I follow Finn Balor on Instagram. And yeah, he posted a big picture. He has a huge gash on the top of his head.
Yeah.
You couldn't see the blood because of his black freaking face paint.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of a botch move. Like, he's supposed to catch, they're supposed to catch, you're not supposed to get hit by the ladder. He's supposed to catch it before it hits his face, and he missed it, and it completely shattered his freaking face, which was, I guess, the real part of wrestling.
Yeah, that gash was gnarly.
That was gnarly. Yeah, you couldn't see the blood because of that, but apparently, and you could tell on the broadcast that they had to pan away, and they were basically kind of like on the edge for a while.
Right.
On the edge, the wrestler, not
right.
on the edge.
Edge started taking stuff out of the ring.
Yeah, they were like, the camera was like on edge for a long time, and it's like, well, obviously they're trying to make sure that Finn Balor doesn't have a freaking concussion, which he probably had anyway.
Man.
Yeah, it was crazy. So for me, that was a cool moment because then I got to see the gash, and it was huge. And I found out today he got 14 staples. That's a lot for a head cut. So yeah. And he is okay,
he's
apparently.
Okay, yeah.
He posted pictures of him being okay. But
in the end, Edge won. Entertaining match. Should be the end of the feud. Because that's what Hell in a Cell's for.
Let's hope so. Throw Roman in the Hell in a Cell then.
Well, overall, despite the mixed results of WrestleMania, I still had a great time this weekend, honey.
I also had a good time.
It was a great time.
It was fun. It was very cool. It was a great experience. It was a great experience. It was cool to be in SoFi again. Still doesn't compare to AT&T Stadium, but I'll say that forever.
Right.
Unfortunately, because SoFi has a glass ceiling, it was sunny.
You mentioned
it was sunny in there until like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So all these cool lights and everything that they had set up, we didn't really get to see until like the last match.
Right.
Because that's when it finally got dark, and it was awfully cold because it's pretty much an open stadium all the way around, except that it's got like this cool structure on the top.
I was getting kind of chilly towards the back.
You were pretty cold. But yeah, other than that, it was. We can't even complain about that. It was great. It was really cool. The experience, the noise, like we'd never been in SoFi when it was that full, and it was sold out. It had like 80,000 plus people in there. It was so loud, and hearing the crowd be so excited for Sami Zayn and what's his name winning,
Kevin Owens.
That was really cool because like people and when Rey Mysterio won, like just hearing like the energy in that stadium was really, really cool. It was a really cool experience. It was neat.
It was great. Well, thank you so much for listening to our little podcast. Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll be back soon enough with more podcasts, we hope.
we won't wait 6 months.
Yeah.
To anyone who's listening, if you care, we won't wait 6 months.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.